Hey, let's attach some clay to some more clay. I'll show you how to do that right now. So you can see here I've cut out a circle from the slab that I rolled out in the previous video. I have also here in my cup my slip. So if you remember, we dropped a little bit of clay into a cup earlier, and you can see I'm kind of mixing this up. So what I want is this, like, it's a thick, uh, we'll be able to paint it on in just a moment, but it's just clay that has been super saturated with water and it starts to dissolve, I guess is the best way to say it. I poured off the extra water so that I could just have this, this kind of slurry. It's like a clay milkshake almost. All right, so I'm going to create now. I'm going to use the scrap that I have to create some pieces that I'm going to attach to this. And you really want to kind of plan out if you want to attach. So I made previously like a flower shape. If you're going to do something like that where you're attaching petals to the outside, you want to start from the outside and work your way into the center. And I'll show you a little bit about why in a moment. Back to my butter knife, just out of the kitchen, is my tool that I'm working with. I'm going to cut what will be some kind of rectangular pieces. If I have scrap, I'm going to set that aside because my plan is I'm going to make that scrap into some beads. Anytime you have scrap, think about making some beads with it. You might be happy that you've done that later. So I've got there 2 pieces, and here's some more scrap. So I'm going to take these scrap pieces while I've got them here, and if I don't do this fairly quickly, these scrap pieces will start to dry out. And you can see I'm just kind of doing some shaping with my finger. I'm going to make, let me roll this. So you can see I'm just kind of rolling it. I'm going to make a unique shape here. If I have seams and cracks, you can kind of see there. I just want to kind of smooth those out with my thumb. And then I want to think about where I'm going to put my hole in this bead. So I'm shaping it just a little bit more, and I think I'm going to put the hole through it. I'm going to use my toothpick again, and I just want to try to control it as I push the Q-tip through. Turning or twisting the I keep calling it a Q-tip, it's a toothpick. Turning or twisting it while you're pushing it through is going to help you to make that hole nice and even, nice and straight. On the side where the toothpick came out, I'm now going to pull the Q-tip back through and just push it through that direction. I am going to continue to shape it while it's actually on the toothpick. And I think that's kind of a fun shape for a simple bead. I'm going to press the end so it's nice and smooth, and then I'm going to set that aside here with my other beads that I've already made. All right, let's make some pieces to attach. Now I'm going to do this, here's how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to pinch off some of these pieces. I'm going to shape them with my finger. And my goal when I shape these for this piece that I'm making right now is that the shape of these is the same. They can be fairly thin. You don't want to make them too thin though, or they'll be very, very prone to breaking. It'll be very difficult for you to get a piece all the way through the firing without breaking. I'm not going to make a bunch of these because they'll begin to dry out fairly quickly. So I'm going to start attaching them right away. I'm going to go back to my slip. I'm going to use, you can see I was using the end of a paintbrush to kind of mix up the slurry that I've got. I'm going to take what's already on the end of the paintbrush and just kind of apply it to that clay that I've got there. Now, you can use your fingers just to kind of mix this around if you want. I'm going to dip the brush end of this now into the slip, and I'm just going to kind of paint that onto the surface of what I'm going to be attaching to. It doesn't have to be too thick. the slip is going to act like glue essentially. So the pieces that we're going to attach, the slip is going to really help them to stick and to stay stuck. All right, so I've got the piece. I'm going to make a flower sort of shape. I have a pencil here that I'm going to use just to show you kind of a different tool. I'm going to take the edge of that petal and just kind of gently press it in. And you can also do this with your fingers. So I'm going to gently press this into the clay that I am connecting to. And so you can see I've attached one petal. I'm going to go ahead and pinch off another piece, shape that. So I got some slip on my fingers. Shape this piece now, being conscious not to make it too thin. And I'm just going to continue to work my way all the way around the slab that I've got. Really taking some time to make sure that's pressed in. I want to press it in nice and firmly. And you can see I've got two petals now connected. So I'm going to continue to pinch off clay, shape the clay. All of this I'm really just doing with my fingers. You can cut this out if you'd like, but fingers are great for what we're doing. And I'm going to continue to work my way around, just kind of gently pressing that into the surface. That's pretty much it. If you're attaching a piece, just to show you guys an example. So let's say I had a few students that were making something that resembled an antler, or maybe like a ray of sunlight. So rolling out kind of a thinner, longer piece here. Again, you can do this, just be aware the thinner and longer your piece gets, the much more fragile it's going to be. So I've got kind of a long, thin piece. I wouldn't go much thinner than this piece here. I might continue to roll it out so you can see it's getting longer. I will show you, I don't know if you can see that it's drying out a little bit, so it's starting to crack. When it starts to crack, that means it might be getting a little bit dry to work with. Cracks will be very dangerous as far as those are good places for it to break. So I'm trying to smooth those cracks out with my fingers, just kind of pulling across them before I attach this. So same policy or same kind of approach that we've been using. So I've got this long piece. Maybe I want to shape it a little bit. I'm going to then gently press it into the surface of the piece that I'm making. And I'm going to come again, and I can use my fingers. I'm going to just show you again this tool. I'm just kind of rolling this pencil across there. Basically, I'm kind of joining these two pieces of clay. Again, this is very fragile what we're working with now. So that piece is going to be very inclined to snap off. So just kind of be aware of that. But that's the basics on attaching clay to clay. Good luck. Look forward to seeing what you guys do.